So MSNBC announced today that there's going to be a new show on this network on Friday nights at 10 o'clock Eastern, hosted by the actor Alec Baldwin. This is very exciting news here for lots of reasons. We are very much looking forward to Mr. Baldwin's new show. But for anybody who watches this show on Friday nights, the most immediate change here will be that I will no longer be able to count down at the very end of the Friday night show to the moment when I send you to prison, because the show Lockup is starting right after me with no commercial break and no barrier at all between dorky old me at my desk and some very intense footage from a correctional system somewhere. So there will be no more 3, 2, 1 prison on Friday night shows once Alec Baldwin's new show starts. However, that does not mean that we don't still sometimes have to visit the Department of Corrections ourselves. Here's something I screwed up. A couple nights ago, I was cataloging the latest accounting that we have of the various cash and prizes that Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell and his family have accepted from a Virginia businessman. A businessman whose company the governor and his wife seem to have gone out of their way to help with a number of arranged meetings with state officials and product endorsements and appearances at their events, etc. Did the governor take official actions as a public official in exchange for money and expensive gifts? Federal prosecutors are now deciding whether charges to that effect should be brought against Governor Bob McDonnell so that case can be decided in court. Now, as you know, the pile of stuff the governor and his family have taken from this businessman since Bob McDonnell has been governor of Virginia includes this huge list, right? An engraved Rolex watch and a $15,000 chicken dinner and a lake house vacation and a loaner $190,000 Ferrari and a ton of cash and all of this stuff. Well, 2 nights ago, thanks to new reporting from the Washington Post, we were able to add to the list of gifts to Mr. McDonnell and his family a happy graduation trip to Florida last Labor Day weekend for the governor's daughter and a friend. Also that same weekend, a private flight and 5 nights of accommodation at a super swank Cape Cod hotel for the governor and his wife. Also, $7,000 worth of golf and golf gear from elite Richmond area country clubs, enjoyed by the governor and his sons and some gubernatorial staffers. All of this additional stuff, yes, from the same guy who made it rain chicken dinners and Ferrari rides and engraved watches for Bob McDonnell. Turns out, though, that I must correct the record, because there is, it turns out, still more. We already knew about gifts to Mr. McDonnell's wife that included a $10,000 suede jacket and a Louis Vuitton handbag and a couple pairs of designer shoes and a designer dress. That multi-$1,000 New York City shopping spree that produced all of those gifts, that was given to the governor's wife in the spring of 2011. But here's the thing we did not know before. That at least $15,000 shopping spree in New York for the governor's wife turns out to be separate and different from another $15,000 shopping trip in New York, also purchased for the governor's wife by the same guy. What the diligent and detailed reporting of the Washington Post found was that in addition to the multi-$1,000 high-fashion shopping spree in New York that produced the jacket and all the rest of it, the same very generous guy also bought at a charity auction a second high-fashion New York trip for the First Lady that fall of that same year. There does not seem to be any indication that the First Lady actually took that trip, but it was purchased for her for $15,000 at an auction while her husband, the governor, reportedly was in the room looking on, which makes it kind of hard for Governor McDonnell to argue that he had no idea that he and his family were raking in all of this largesse from this one guy, whose company he then later helped out. But again, I regret the error. It was not one but 2 $15,000 high-fashion New York City shopping trips purchased for the governor's wife. It's hard to keep track, right? The pile of loot that Governor McDonnell and his family have raked in since he has been governor is a high enough pile that it is getting hard to see to the top. It is getting hard to sort out exactly how many multiples of everything are in the pile. But still, I regret the error, and I will try to stay on top of every new revelation about every new thing it turns out Governor McDonnell took for himself and his family during his governorship. But hey, it's a lot. And they have never come clean and accounted for it all, even now. So who knows what will turn up next.